Hi, this is Sharon with Positively Provost, and I also own It's Time Promotions. Today, we are honored to meet with Donnie Hall. Donnie is a coach with, what's it called, ActionEdge Business Coaching out of Calgary, and I should know this because I've been with you guys for over 2 years. Donnie, his, he has a really strong relation with our community, so I thought it would be ideal for you to jump in with us, Donnie, if you don't mind. Donnie, I just want to elaborate too. I want to brag about your accomplishments here really quickly. Donnie's been awarded a huge award out of, was it 1,200 coaches globally. You are made the top 25 as a business coach. Like, that's a huge award for you, isn't it? Like, that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, honestly, it's a huge testament to the work that we put in, the group that we work with, to be able to have the results we do with the clients. You don't get there if you don't get results, and I think it's just I'm extremely proud to be on that list and to be recognized. And again, for me, it's just being able to support local business owners and get them to the next stage. So it's huge for me.
We are very honored for you to take your time and meet with us today, because our community needs some help right now, I believe, Donnie. Donnie's grandma, Betty Hall, also was the founder of Hall's Grocery that we all know. So that's pretty wickedly cool. And you just told me before our meeting that you spent many summers here in Provost.
Yeah, like I said, from time I was about 6 years old till late teens, almost 18, come out and spend every summer. From the day classes ended to the day classes went in, I would be out there and, just enjoying the town, whether it be going out gopher shooting, playing golf, going swimming. The activities are long and enjoyable, but it's Provost is home to me more than anywhere.
Wow, that's awesome, Donnie. One thing I was hoping that, because I had a meeting with Jared today, and he had said that there's a lot of, and you can explain it more to me, but you guys are really busy helping companies, businesses such as myself, prepare and get ready for the coming sprint, he called it, quote, sprint. Can you help us with a little bit, like, how do we prepare for this sprint, and what exactly in your world is a sprint?
Absolutely. So the sprint that everyone should be preparing for, and despite what Mr. Kenny said, is there's always a boom after the bust. And, when things kind of get back to normal, there's going to be this mad rush to get back to where we were. So that's that sprint. Now we need to prepare for that sprint, and there's many ways that we can be doing that. First off, the biggest fault to be doing right now is sitting on your hands. If you're a business owner and you're sitting on your hands and you're waiting for money and waiting for the government to change everything, well, when the time does come and time to open the doors, we're going to be behind the eight ball, and it's going to be a heck of a sprint. It's going to be a whole lot more of a sprint than if we start preparing for it. So we can start looking at ways at how are we communicating with our clients? How are we communicating with the market space? What products and our services are we offering? This is the time that we really need to be educating everybody what value we can bring. We can also be looking at what processes in our business can we refine to make ourselves more efficient, operate better, have a more efficient team, more effective team, more cohesive team. For those of us who've laid people off and we know we're going to go back to business and we need to hire people, it's a reality check. It's time to look in the mirror. Is like, do people actually want to come working for you, or are they going to start looking elsewhere? Right. Like there's going to be a pool of people. Was it 25% of our employable people are going to be out of work, but that's 25% of a lot of talented people. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be all these businesses are going to be looking for people. They're going to have their choice of where they apply. The place that they got laid off from, is that exactly where they want to come back to work to? So it's a reality check. Look at yourself in the mirror. Like, I've got a great business. I provided a great culture, and this is what people want to come back and work to. So that's one way we can be doing that.
I'd be devastated if I lost my girls, Donnie.
Absolutely.
Oh my Lord, that'd be terrible.
It's never easy, and I literally just had this conversation with my mom, who had to lay some people off, and this is not an easy time. Nobody wants to be laying anybody off. We know there's no work out there for you to go find. We know that you might have a young family. It is not easy. we want our employees, right? We
Mhm.
want people to want to work with us and to move forward and to overcome these challenges. We want to have those people, but we always need to be asking, do they want us? And
Right. So,
so
so when you say prepare, what would be a couple solid examples of what we should be doing to prepare? Like for myself, for example, everything is like Zoom orientated now. Do you see
yep.
this going out? Do you see this going away? I don't see this going away.
Absolutely not. I would say, if anything, this is just going to be factored into
Hmm.
how we do business. This is going to allow us to have more face-to-face, less phone calls. This is just another piece that's going to come into it.
Yeah.
I think we need to look at opportunities outside of how we did business before and look at how do we expand that?
Right.
How can we do business differently?
And what about like, so anyways, I've been learning it's all about relationships, and I believe that, and you guys have installed that into my brain. It's all about relationships, and that's like absolutely it is. But Donnie, so do you think that like so we've also created an online store, and I think that's important as well. Like I don't think that's going to go away either. Like I think our community wants our small businesses to offer those services that they're currently getting from Amazon. Don't you think? Am I wrong on that?
I think the more we can promote each other, so build those relationships and promote each other and provide a mechanism that makes it easy for people to buy from us,
Easy, easy to buy. That's it. Yes.
right? Like it's yes, people are going to Amazon and I know this already happens in Provost. A lot of people are going or avoiding the stores in town and they're going elsewhere. One, because Amazon might offer it cheaper.
Mhm.
Sure. Or they might make it more convenient. And I think
Mhm.
oftentimes that's the thing. It's convenience. So
Yeah.
what are we doing to make things convenient? But then also, what are we doing to actively show that to people?
Right. Okay.
Right? It's one thing to have an online store, but if nobody knows about it, then what's the point of doing it?
Right. Because I honestly think our community wants to support local. That's not an issue, but they want that convenience. So I
Yep.
think for us as a business owner, we have to pivot. Like we have to adjust and we have to grow with these times and we have to do it now. And now's our
Yes.
time when we're at home. We need to do it now. So
100%.
you're suggesting thinking of ways of making it convenient, whatever your industry is.
Absolutely.
So besides online shopping, do you have any other ideas that you've witnessed in your circle?
Um, online is one major strategy that's out there. Um, I think um, I think part of it is connecting with our market space and selling the value, making the decision to purchase from you easier.
Okay.
Um, Again, if it boils down to price, the cheapest person's always going to win.
Hmm.
So it comes down to the value, right? And there's a lot of great businesses in Provost that offer a standard product and or service that that they're competing with Amazon with.
Hmm.
So now it's how do I show the value of what I'm doing to make that purchasing decision easier?
Right.
Like
Okay.
it's
So
again making it easier to purchase is one thing, but we need to overcome the decision to purchase before they even decide before they are purchasing from you.
okay. So for example, this is just an example, and I think I get what you're meaning here, Donnie. So we do vehicle wraps, for example. We get a little bit more busier in the vehicle wraps and the signage on fleets and stuff. So we would promote why it's beneficial for them to advertise that way, right? Like how is that relationship? Like how is it going to help benefit them and our knowledge behind it, right? Is that what you're getting at, Donnie? Is that
I,
correct?
I, I think I think that's part of it,
Okay,
right? But it's also why do business with you?
because we're awesome. How do you promote that?
But that's the thing. Like if you ask yourself why do business with you or why do business with Amazon, it usually boils down to convenience under price. Right now, we call this the USP. You probably work with Jared on
Yes.
this.
Yes,
You
we
know,
got
like
them.
there's like right now, there's a lot of ways to promote doing business with you. For example, Sharon, here's one for you.
Yeah.
For every, let's call it, for every transaction you do, you take a portion of those proceeds and donate them to some other business, or you give a nominal value in return, but it can only be used at another location within Provost. Right.
Right.
So if I know that I could go to another promotions place and buy ball cap shirts, printing, whatever, and the pricing might be the same. But if I know a percentage of what I give you is going to go back into your community,
To the community, yeah.
you just touched my feelers, and now I'm like, oh well, that just makes more sense. And right now, out of all times, everyone's like, how do I support local? How do I support local? How do I support local? Give people an easy way to support local.
So that's something, because we've actually started doing that community 2020 hashtag community 2020. So, and maybe I got to work on that a little bit more. So what that was meant to do is, if you buy a product from It's Time, and put that little logo on it, like the community 2020 logo, we will get a gift certificate from whose ever community, because like not all our customers are from Provost, like we do Western Canada, right? So we'll buy a gift certificate from their community, from a business in their choice, and that was our way of giving back to communities. So I thought that was kind of cool, but maybe we need to push that a little bit more. Like that was our idea, is to give back for sure.
Yeah. Like, I think everybody needs to know about it. Again, not everybody's going to be in a position where they're going to need your service, but anybody who calls your business needs to know that's what you're going to do.
Right.
Like that needs to be in your proposal. That needs to be in your messaging. People need to understand that that's what you're doing right now.
Okay. Yeah, because we come up with a really nice logo. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so we're adding value for decision making. We're keeping it convenient for our people, right? Anything else you want to elaborate that, Donnie? Because I'm out of questions for that area.
Yeah, I think right now is just making sure that you're still very active in your market space, and finding a way to stay engaged with the market, with your community. And even if the doors are closed, is still letting people know that you're there and what you do.
Okay.
I think it's going to be extremely important, because people are going to remember who is there through all of it. And the people who duck away and kind of become non-existent in all of this get forgotten really quickly, because people will gravitate to the people who are present.
Right. So market community, you're talking about social media platforms, of course, right? However you normally do advertising is what you're saying, Donnie?
Yeah, okay. Whether it's advertising, whether it's even like other businesses, networking, like we can virtual network, right? Like never before. And what you're doing and trying to bring everybody together, get these videos going, I think it's phenomenal. But there's no reason why we shouldn't be calling up other businesses and brainstorming, like, hey, like how can we make sure we're supporting local? How can we get everybody informed about what you're doing? What promotions are you doing? What promotions are you doing? Do you want to do a cross promotion? How can I support you? Like, those are the conversations that you can be having, and try and drive forward thinking solutions and strategies that get people excited about doing this again, and staying engaged. Brilliant.
Even with my interviews that I've been doing with people, but that's a great, maybe I can put a different angle on it, like that way also, right? Like how yeah, I think that's brilliant. That's awesome.
Like, one of the things that I want to see, and I think we're lacking it right now, is the amount of the challenging questions of how do we do things better, right? Like there's a lot of internalization where we are pulling back a little bit, and we're like, okay, how am I going to survive, right? And it's going to be challenging times, but how do we do things better? If we start asking ourselves, I challenge everybody out there to start asking their kids, You want to get ridiculous, start asking your kids. The most creative people on the planet right now, ones who use their imagination more than anybody else, start asking them. The most unlikely answers may be the right answers right now, but we're not asking enough questions of people on how can we be better. As adults, we get confined to the logic that we grew up with, that we've experienced. And the logic that we've experienced up to this point is catastrophic. It's limiting. It's like, pardon my French, it's a holy shit, now what?
Yeah.
Versus those children, those people who haven't been tainted by business or politics or the economy, they're thinking outside the box. And this is now, like, this is our opportunity to start thinking outside of the box. Maybe it's time to pivot. Maybe it's time to do business differently. Maybe it's just establishing new connections. It's just, we need to think outside of the box.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, like, I'm part of the WPO organization. So we had a group meeting yesterday, and just talking to these ladies, like, it's so inspirational, and they have all different ideas. And that's what Positively Provost is about, is for us as community members, our business people, and the community in general to all get together and let's just brainstorm and help each other, right? So I'm hoping, hopefully that some of these videos will definitely,
like, one of the things that's that us as coaches, and I know Jared does this with you guys all the time, I think it's really instrumental in aiding and supporting our success moving forward, is that piece of accountability, right? It's, don't get me wrong, I want to see all the ideas come out to the table and be thrown out there, but there has to be a level of accountability and commitment to trying new things, or to trying, even if you hear some good ideas, it's bouncing them off, bouncing them off your coach, bouncing them off Jared, chatting with other people and say, okay, can I make this work? And if I'm gonna do it, like, I'm gonna do it. It's not just it's like throwing a bunch of cards on the table and not picking any of them up. We need to hear some ideas, chat about them, figure out which ones we think are gonna work, which ones make the most amount of sense, and then take dedicated action and intention and start working on them. Because all the ideas in the world are great, but they don't materialize anything. Ideas do not materialize. We have to do something with the idea. We have to take action.
So one thing, I did have a meeting with my girls last night, just because I'm the kind of person, I have all these things in my head, and I'm sure there's lots of people like that. We're like, holy Christ. And I sit here doing my work, but at the end of the day, I'm still all over the place. So we have come up with, on our Google Drive, a sheet with deadlines of projects we want to accomplish, because Sharon's not going to get nothing done. I know I'm not. I mean, I have lots on the go. My table's full of paperwork, but am I going to complete any of it? I need a projection. I need deadlines. So that's what in order to help us get through this, and with our goals that we want to reach, that's the way that we've decided that that's going to help us. But I'm sure there's other ways of people, make a journal or do something, make your list, right? Is that what you're suggesting then? Like, make a list.
Absolutely. So, do I have one with me right here? 1 second. Right, like, we started incorporating these into our stuff at ActionEdge.
Well, I don't got one.
Oh, well, then we'll have to get you. We'll have to get you one. But what it is it's a productivity planner, right? So the idea is, Sharon, like, you're a visionary. You have lots of ideas. You drive and propel the business forward with different ideas, but then you need a team and some dedication, some discipline for yourself, but also your team to go out and execute. And if you have a million ideas out there, just as well as I do, none of them are likely to ever happen or to materialize. And so we need to start pulling it in a little bit and focus on a couple. And that's exactly what you're saying. So taking that massive list that you have and setting objectives, high level objectives, and strategically working on specific pieces of them.
That's what I need.
So whether you use a journal to do that, whether you just have a big whiteboard and you start writing ideas down, whether you use a free project management tool like Monday.com. If anybody wants help on that, I'd be more than willing to jump in and help you organize your day on that. Like, there's a million things to do. I guess first thing first is write your ideas down. If you're in business by yourself, then leverage your peers, other business owners, a coach, and start talking about how those ideas are going to affect your business, because some make sense and some don't. Um, but then it's being very disciplined and dedicated to taking on not too much, not too little, just enough,
Just enough.
and
Yeah.
just enough, but making sure that you're dedicated to seeing it through. But also right now, like we talk about being agile and being able to pivot, that if we're working on something and we realize, specifically as leaders, or well, even leaders, if we hear from our team that something isn't working, that we're in an agile position to pivot if need be.
Okay.
And always going back to, why did I start this in the first place? What was the intended outcome? And if it's going to take you to a completely different outcome that isn't going to benefit you or the business or the team, then I think then you have to be able to pull, shoot, and pivot again.
Right.
But right now we have to be able to take those ideas, write them down,
Write them down.
and execute on them. As much like we do at 90-day planning, we kind of revisit the list of, this is what I need to work on or do to work on my business, and we kind of set a dedicated path. Now is the kind of the same thing. Like, you take some of those ideas and start working on them.
Right. And even like as an entrepreneur, and I'm sure there's lots of us out there, the same mindset, we're used to working long hours and hard hours, right? So I'm going to work more on my default calendar to get myself organized, because I kind of like my extra time, so that way I can appreciate being down. Also, like, being at home is not a bad thing. We actually sat and had supper at our kitchen table a few times. I've actually cooked a couple of times. I get to go hang with my horse. So if I can compound by a default calendar or a journal that you're talking about into an area, I can be productive and then still enjoy my time at home as well. So it could be
Yeah.
a win-win-win for sure.
I think just on that note, and it's, there, some people would argue with me, but this is my take on it, because I think right now mental health is going to be kind of the utmost importance,
Absolutely it is.
right?
Yes.
And while at the same time, I will say that now is the time to work on your business. Now more than ever, I would say, is when we need to start dedicating time in our day to just us.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, I know you like your horses and you like your time. When you mentioned default calendar, I think that's one of the first things that needs to be in there. And we need to realize that our business hours are no longer 8 to 4 or 9 to 5 or 7 to whatever. Like, it's from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. Those are the hours in your day that you have to work with.
Yeah.
First thing you set in there is time for you. When are you going to take care of yourself so that you can take care of your business, your family, your community? Because if you can't take care of yourself right now, like, you're in a lot of trouble. And I know there's people saying, well, I need money. I need money. I get that. Without health, money is nothing. Right? And you can't achieve anything without your health. So right now is, you need your mental capacity to be at its best, and taking the time to, I'm a fitness advocate, but to nourish your body, with healthy food and exercise and solid focus on your mental state. I think that's of the utmost importance right now.
Yeah, I believe that. Like, I think I wouldn't say, I don't know what the proper word is without offending anybody, but I forgot to take care of myself first, because my business was everything, right? So I consider myself blessed to be able to appreciate this time. Actually, like, I'm having a new outlook on my life, and I'm pretty sure, I know it's horrible times out there and we don't know what's coming, but if you can just take a few minutes to appreciate what you got around you right now, it will help. Like, it does help your mindset for sure.
Yeah, it's like, just something that I learned not too long ago, but scientifically proven. Smiling reduces your cortisol.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling stressed out, as ridiculous as it may seem, step into the bathroom, step in front of a mirror, and crack a smile, and instantly your stress will go down. And the other one, and maybe you've talked about this with Jared, is having or writing down what you're grateful for. right?
Yeah.
Sharing gratitude. If you're writing down and feeling gratitude, it's pretty hard to be stressed out.
Yeah.
When you're feeling thankful and grateful for something, you're not going to be stressed at the same time. So, it's
Hi guys.
absolutely, it's imperative. It's
Yeah,
imperative to take care of yourself.
I have a gratitude journal, Donnie, and it's
Nice.
that's what I have it, and I write it. I've been doing it for over 2 years every morning with my morning cup of coffee, and a lot of them are just simple things. Some mornings I struggle. Some mornings it's what yeah, it's crazy. But Donnie, I know I'm taking a lot of your time. I just
You
want
have,
to talk about if you can shed some light this program that you got going on tomorrow. I think it's a seminar that you guys going on. Is it for the Profit Club? Can you shed some light? Is that anybody can join on and listen, or how does that work? Are we the
yeah, absolutely. So anybody can jump on and partake and see what it's all about. It's really just an introduction to what Profit Club is. So if people are interested on how we can benefit and some of the education that we share, like, you've worked with Jared for some time, so you understand the value of the content that we provide. Profit Club is kind of bite-sized chunks of that's delivered every other week. So tomorrow's session is really just an introduction to that, to give people an idea of one, who we are, what the content is, and I guess ultimately to bring a group of people together to experience that and to share. And we also hold a level of accountability, so it's kind of like a mini coaching session.
right?
So everybody, we feed everybody some education on what they can do to work on their business to hopefully improve their business. And then we talk about specific successes that people have had, and then we try and pull out some accountability. So based on the learning that people experienced, it's how can we take that back to our own business and implement it and use it to make our business a little bit more successful, or just push ourselves a little bit further. So,
I'm
and
gonna
that's
jump
and
on
that's
for
what it
sure.
is.
I
Yeah,
know you guys are rock
please
stars,
do.
but also I heard, how did that work? Jared told me, but didn't make notes, that this program was designed by you guys, and it actually won a huge award as well. Do you know more details on that?
Yeah, Jared would certainly be able to speak more to that, but ultimately it was the top group coaching award in 2018,
18?
2019. I can't remember what it was,
Yeah,
but
I think
that's
he said
that's ultimately what
2018.
it was. And it's literally just based on the content, which you get on a one-on-one basis, but broken down. And yeah, it's people saw the value or see the value in it, and we were recognized for
That's so
the
awesome.
results we were getting. So
Well, I think ActionEdge coaching is amazing. So, okay, I think I just want to look over my notes, make sure I didn't forget anything. I think that's. Oh, can you tell them a little bit story? You told me a little bit about the shovel in the ground and how your grandparents built Hall's Grocery. Can you do that for me?
I sure can. So um, yeah, my grandparents obviously owned Hall's Foods before it was what it was. Before Gail Gregory owned it, and it was early 1980s, I believe. My grandma had mentioned to my grandfather that she wanted to own a grocery store, and one afternoon my grandpa came back home, like, from wherever he was, and he went to my grandmother. He's like, are you serious, you want a grocery store? And she said yes. And later that afternoon my grandpa was up digging the foundation for Hall's Foods, and it
Amazing.
was purely my grandma's desire to own a grocery store that led them to building that building that you see on the corner there across from the schoolyard.
40
So
years ago.
yeah, roughly 40 years ago. Yeah, and my grandma ran it for about 30, I believe, till she was 75. So
75.
most people who experienced it know that my grandma was running from the back to the front at 75 years of age. So
And that's a lot of, I know when I'm on my feet all day, I'm a hurting unit, so that's pretty impressive. One thing I think that we talked about before we started recording, Donnie, and I think that's worth is about just the whole relationships and how your grandma's store was so warm, like people coming for coffee. And
Yeah.
I think that we can learn from that as business owners, you know, like I wish I could go back in time and just have that atmosphere again, just to see what it felt like, because I don't think we have that anymore in these days.
It certainly doesn't exist, and I don't know if it's a small town thing. I hate to think that that's what it is, but one of the things that I remember most about when it was my grandparents' store is, like, it didn't matter what time of the day it was. People would always just be popping in just to say hello, and they would come to the back. And if there's anybody listening, this probably resonates with you, but you'd come to the back and there'd be a group of people surrounding the coffee pot and telling stories and laughing. And for those of you who remember my grandfather, like, you wouldn't be stuck there if you went there for a 10-minute trip to the grocery store, and you caught my grandfather in the back, you were there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, having a BS session.
Yeah,
And yeah, like, the thing for me, and that always stood out, is that it was never about money for my grandparents. It was always about providing something to the community. And it was that store that was, like, it was truly community. Like,
yeah,
didn't matter who you were, where you're from. What I saw was that everyone was welcome. It was the warmest place I could imagine. And it's funny, like, as you're mentioning this to me, Sharon, I was thinking of, like, what other stores in Provost did I experience that? And it's like, I think about, like, I go down to Larson's Hardware, and Rod and Ted and the team down there, like, I'd go in there with my grandma and my grandpa, and just the BS sessions that would take place. And
yeah.
sometimes you didn't even buy anything, but sometimes you did. Like, just a
Hmm.
great place to just go in and do business, and you felt warm, and you felt like a part of the community, part of the family. And I think that's why they wanted to support local,
Yeah,
is because they had a deeper connection with the people in the store. And I was mentioning to you, sometimes people wouldn't even come into the store to buy anything. They would just come in to see the people there.
right.
But 9 times out of 10, they walk out with something in
With
their
something.
hand.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's not necessarily the intention. That's just kind of the ripple effect of
yeah,
building a warm place that people want to do business with.
yeah.
People are more likely to do business with you because they know who you are, they believe in you, and they want to support you, than if you just have a good product on the shelf.
Hmm. It's so
Like,
true. Like I think like that's what we're trying to do is get. That's what Positively Provost is all about, just trying to get that community back from what your grandparents had. Because I know like it's a long ways, and I don't even know if we know what we're doing. But to go back to those days and feel that kind of emotion would be fabulous.
it's I want to believe in small towns. It's not far away. It's doing things like what you're doing to really bring people in, to try and rally the troops.
Hmm.
It's going to take that. And sadly, with technology and a lot of different factors, we we've gotten distant. We've gotten very distant. And I think there's just such a great opportunity for us to kind of reignite that fire, and become community again,
Hmm.
and support one another, and just, yeah, connect. I think that's
Yeah,
one of the biggest things, is just connect and find out how we can be there for one another.
yeah, that's beautiful. We'll get there. We're working on it, Donnie. Donnie,
Absolutely.
so I don't know. Can I copy and paste when I upload this video? Can I copy and paste probably that link for that Zoom meeting for tomorrow if anybody wants to join it? What time is it tomorrow? Do you know? Off the top
6
of my head?
p.m.
6 p.m. tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay, so I could probably copy and paste that link and put it in here. And if anybody wants to reach out to you, should they just go to your website, or do you want me to put your email address or phone number, or do you want me to do anything like that, or just go to the website?
You can give them my email, my phone number. My
Okay.
Facebook, it doesn't really matter. If anybody wants to reach out and chat and reminisce or talk strategy or whatever the hell you want to do, 100%. Like I said, Provost is my home too, so I'll be
Perfect.
more than willing to help out everybody and support you guys in any way, shape, or form I can.
That's awesome, and we really greatly appreciate you, Donnie. So I'm going to hit end record, then you and I will stay on here for one more second, okay? Thank you,
Okay,
everybody.
sounds good.
Thank you, Donnie.